Today is the day. I'm doing it. I'm pulling back the curtain and I'm going to share 3 real estate industry secrets that most agents probably won't tell you. I'm going to go over this, and whether you're buying or selling or just possibly thinking about real estate, I know this is going to help you. So with that said, let's get started. Now let's start with the first secret: days on the market. Now I'm sure you've seen some listings pop up as new, but you're like, I swear I've seen this before. And then you check the history on House Sigma or Zillow, and you're like, oh, this has been listed before. Well, why? Because the listing agent and the sellers have decided to relist that property. Because properties that sit on the market for a really long time has a negative stigma behind it, right? For whatever reason, people think that maybe they're overpriced or problematic, which could be true, and people just tend to lowball those homes. So by relisting it, hopefully with a different price, the agent and the sellers are essentially making it look like it's fresh, even though it's been listed before. And another important point I want to make is that a lot of the news articles that you see online, or a lot of the social media posts I see, share that the average days on the market is a lot lower than what it actually is. So to give you an idea right now, this is from September stats, right? You can see that the average days on the market, it says, is 27 days. Now, that's not the average days on the market, the one we know. That's actually listing days on the market. And this is what a lot of people go off of. The one below it, the property days in the market, is the real number. Because what happens is certain homes gets listed and it gets taken off the market and they get relisted the second time. And maybe it took 10 days to sell it the second time. But the first time around, that property was on the market for over a month. Property days on the market is a way better way to look at the overall health of the market as opposed to just listing days on the market, because that could always change, and I don't want to say altered, but it could be played with by agents and by sellers. Secret number 2 is that Realtor.ca is still king. Now I know social media is huge. I'm on it, you're on it, we all use social media, and it's extremely effective, I know that. But here's the truth that nobody will tell you. 90% of people that find your home, if you're a seller, or 90% of buyers find properties through Realtor.ca. So what happens is, if you're a seller and you decide to work with a brokerage, that brokerage is going to list your property on MLS. And then from there, it goes on Realtor.ca, and automatically it gets distributed to other websites like House Sigma, Zillow, and Canadian Real Estate, etc. Different websites, and they all get their information from the one source, which is MLS, and that is Realtor.ca. So now, social media definitely adds value, right? 5 to 10% is still a huge number. Now, I have personally run ads on social media, and I've found buyers for listings through social media. That's happened. That's very effective, because you can target who you want to target on Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, and you have control over these things. But with that said, it still doesn't take away the fact the majority of people that see your home come through Realtor.ca. Now, secret number 3, photos. Photos are everything. Now look, I want you to think of photos like a great outfit you pick for a big event. Now, just because you're wearing a really nice suit or a dress or an outfit doesn't change really who you are on the inside, but it does change your perceived value to everyone else. People will perceive you differently because you're wearing something nice, and that's why people spend money on nice cars and Rolexes and so on and so forth. But the point that I'm making here is that the photos for your home is the equivalent of that nice outfit at that event. Great photos typically attract great buyers, and that means that you're taking this seriously, that your agent is taking this seriously, and vice versa. If the photos are taken poorly, that usually attracts the investors. Now, I'll tell you what I do. I'm on MLS hours and hours in a week, right? I'm always looking at properties in different pockets and everything. And every time I see a property with really bad photos, the first thing I do is I'm going to call my top 5 or top 10 investors, because I see an opportunity there, right? I call the agent just to have a feel for it. And I'm like, you know what? This is a weak link. We can make this happen. This happens all the time. I'm not saying it happens every day, but there's some great opportunities for investors, and that's the first surface level of how you would typically filter them, is just by looking at their photos. Because bad photos means the agent didn't really put any effort into this listing and doesn't really care, and neither does a seller. So there's typically room to negotiate. There you go. Those are the 3 secrets that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you found that helpful, and if you did, please give me a like and subscribe. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers.